Hey guys, Insightful Nerd back with another Marvel Legend review. Today we have the Deluxe Deadpool from the Deadpool and Wolverine Series 2, or as the packaging suggests, the Dogpool and Deadpool 2-pack. From the looks of it, it is the same exact body as the previous one, which I was expecting. Um, just glancing at it from how it is now, it does look like it even has the same paint. We'll look into that later on. I'm kind of hoping there's some differences because it'd be a little unfortunate if this is just the accessories you're really paying for. But anyways, let's get right into it. Here's the front of the box. Side of the box showing Dogpool. The other side also showing Dogpool. Top of the box has the Deadpool and Wolverine logo. And here's the back of the box. Of course, all the packaging leaning very heavily into Deadpool's love for Dogpool, rightfully so. And on the bottom, you can see the rest of the figures in the wave, as mentioned in the Tiger Stripe sleeveless video. I only bought the Wolverines and the Deadpool variants. The other side characters and villains, not interested at all. I like the characters in the movie. I like what they did with them, but the figures, just not super thrilled. Anyways, let's just get right to it. Let's crack this open. Here's the inside of the box. Of course, it is the exact same layout as the other ones in the Deadpool and Wolverine subline. Here's the Wolverine box for comparison. And here we have the inner plastic with all the accessories. It is very accessory heavy, which I'm very happy to see. These deluxe figures, them pricing it at like 40. It's nice to see them actually include a good amount of accessories. Just taking a gander at the figure, it does look like it is the same exact Deadpool. I was hoping for maybe some mild weathering and also a Wade Wilson head. That's something I feel like was a given, but unfortunately we do not get that. So let's crack this open fully and honestly just start off with the accessories. Fucking hell, that was tedious to get that out. Right off the bat, I'm going to start with the Wolverine claws. Of course, this figure spoils the movie. However, it is 2 years old now, which is still crazy to admit. So spoilers isn't really a thing. Of course, in the movie, he digs up Logan's grave and uses his corpse to kill off a bunch of TVA agents, and we see that in that scene. So I'm really glad that they included these. I was really hoping to get some eventually. They just look really nice. The claws themselves, the forearm bones, all the little tendons and nerves he's holding on to. And if I'm not mistaken, it is just one piece. It's all connected to the hand. So you just have to pour it on the hand, like feed the arm through carefully, which after I'm done with this, I'm probably just going to display them with the claws because it's just so cool. That opening shot for the movie was just so fucking awesome to see. But yeah, I even appreciate the little bits of paint they put in there to show the adamantium bones. Quickly grab a Wolverine to compare the claws. So they are a bit smaller than your standard Wolverine claws. This is the Logan from the first Deadpool and Wolverine wave. But again, for it just being an accessory that goes onto this figure, they're very nice. Next up, we have Logan's spine and skull, also used in that scene. I love that they didn't just have it be a blank skull. There's actually, that is so gruesome, like broken teeth and bits of his face and hair still on there. The whole head sits on a ball swivel, so there's a bit of articulation at play there. I was kind of hoping the spine itself would be bendy wire. That does not look like that's the case, but it does still have some give. I don't know, just in general, I really like this. They put in just quite a bit of effort into it. More bits of Logan just to keep on theme. Some more bits of his skeleton that he used as nunchucks. You got a pair that's opened and partially, close together. Again, painted nicely. They got them all chromed, like a chrome plastic, I guess. And then the muscle tendons are painted separately. So a good amount of detail put into there. He, of course, comes with a pair of katanas, which are the same mold as the previous Deadpool, um, but they have more paint. This is the previous one here. It didn't have the little gold detailing on there. So it's nice to see they put a little bit more effort in. Of course, deluxe, so they are obligated to, but I wish they would do stuff like that more often. Still nice to see here. The baby knife is the exact same as the one from the previous Deadpool. The one on the left is the deluxe one, but they are identical. Not surprised there. They didn't really need to change it, so that's fine. His golden Desert Eagles from the movie, also cool to see. I do wish they were painted. Instead, they just mold it in a gold plastic, which works. And if that was our only way to actually get it, I don't mind. But same as the swords and baby knife, it is the same mold as the previous Deadpool's guns. But just having that little extra pop of color is gonna stand out, especially since all of the buckles and whatnot on this suit are like a bronze color, so it'll look nice. Here we have Dogpool. Very nice piece to see. A little bit of articulation there in the head, just rotating. But the paintwork on there is nice. Like there's detailing all throughout. The little Deadpool logo on the front there. The hair, the tongue, face, all very accurate to the dog in the movie. Do a little bit of a side by side there. So that's definitely a cool little accessory to be included. Included are also these Hulk hands that they fit on top of just normal figure hands. These are included, of course, from that scene where he's talking in that scene with Happy Hogan about joining the Avengers. And he talks about doing some vile things with these. I do like that they are just literally a smaller version of the real life foam Hulk gloves. So that's just really cool to see, and honestly, a little bit versatile. You could use them for a few other figures if you'd like. Maybe stick it on a Stan Lee if you already have them with other accessories. Again, I probably won't be displaying mine with these because I'll have them with the claws, but I really appreciate them including these. No paint detail, but the fact that they made a new sculpt for these in general is really nice. For hands, we have a pair of holding hands, of course, for his katanas or guns or baby knife or even the Hulk hands. A pair of trigger fingers, use these for the guns. Again, I really like that bronze detailing on there. It is the same as the previous figure, but, at least it's consistent. As mentioned before, the claw hands, which are all molded into one piece. I do like that, but I am worried about, trying to get them in there. And also in general, like, I already have a pair that's bent. So this pair's fine. I'll just have to find a way to get these straightened out. And of course, a pair of web shooting flipper hands. This is from the scene where he was riding in the Honda Odyssey with Wolverine. He was pissing him off just before they ended up doing that very brutal fight. And of course, that Deadpool head sculpt is returning from the previous figure. Nothing to complain about there. I do still, of course, wish that we got a Wade Wilson head. That would have been about the only other accessory I would have liked to see. So yeah, I guess just before we get into articulation, I'll just go over the side by side. I mean, I'm just looking at them and I don't see anything different. Obviously, I knew the bodies would be identical, but the paintwork is the same. So I guess maybe that's the only other thing that kind of bums me out, is I was kind of hoping for a different style, or like a slightly weathered look, like a black wash on the plastic, just to differentiate it a bit more. Because you see throughout the movie, Wolverine's suit gets completely demolished versus Deadpool's, which gets slowly more dirty. It doesn't really get torn up at all. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad to see that all the detail remained. They didn't like try and skimp out because of all the accessories. The belts are still painted. All the little buckles on them are still painted. Everything's looking nice. I just wish, once again, we got a Wade Wilson head, and that would be about all I would need from it to be perfect. So for articulation, arm goes up this high. elbow bends that far, ab crunch that far forward, that far back, leg kicks that far forward, that far back, knee bends that far, ankle pivot and wrist pivot on every single one of them. There's even wrist pivots on the claw hands. Of course, you just wouldn't really be able to use them that much because of the way it's all connected there. He does have butterfly joints, so you get a little bit forward and then they can really stretch far back. I do kind of wish they would have cut out a bit more there so you can go forward a bit more. But I think the articulation's serviceable. I just don't really like the way Legends make Deadpool in general. Like the movie Deadpools, they're just too skinny in my opinion, which I mean proportionally it is still accurate because he's more slender. I don't know, it doesn't feel like enough substance there compared to like the comic Deadpools. Head looks that far up, that far down. Of course, you can tilt the head all about. So yeah, that's about all for articulation. I'm gonna check something. I doubt they fixed this. Ooh, hold up. Okay, that's good. The baby knife is quite firm in its holster. Like it's actually very snug to get it in there, and when we tip it upside down, it doesn't fall out. I've had that issue with this previous Deadpool since I got it. You put it in, it's a little bit loose, and then you tip it, and it'll just fall out on its own. I have to like push it to where like the upper bit like really stresses it out to get the stick in there. So I was like, I'm glad they either fixed that or maybe this one was just an error. I don't know. For height, this Deadpool's standing around 6.5 inches, pretty standard. And Dogpool is standing at about an inch and a half, maybe slightly less. For our first comparison, here we have Deadpool and Dogpool stood next to the Deadpool and Wolverine from that first wave. Here we have them next to two, unfortunately, somewhat disappointing figures. On the left, we have the recently reviewed Wolverine that was also in this Series 2, and this Logan from the first series, who can't seem to stand on his own because of the way his legs are reused. Quite unfortunate. And as some of you might have seen, the lack of weathering there is quite irritating for me. Also, I learned apparently when they reused this Wolverine body, they redid the hips slightly. On the older one, they stick out more, and they like slightly altered it to where they're more pushed in on the new one. It's like a very subtle difference, but I'm glad they did it because that was a huge issue I had with this first one. For some comic Deadpools, here we have him with the Maximum Series Deadpool and the retro carded Deadpool. Here we have him with Goop from the Maximum Series Deadpool and the Hitmonkey 2-pack Deadpool. Here we have him with Lady Deadpool and Gwenpool. If they ever do a Series 3 of Deadpool and Wolverine, I would love to see Lady Pool. Would also not mind seeing a 2099 Deadpool, because that one was briefly in the movie. Of course, Kid Pool. And there's concept art for a Wolverine Deadpool variant. I mean, a lot of the concept art for the movie was absolutely stellar, and like I'm really pissed off they cut some of it out. Like the original concept art for the Tiger Stripe suit. Oh my god, that thing's gorgeous. And then they just over-designed the fuck out of it. And of course, the brown suit in the movie, gorgeous, but the concept art for that was even slightly better, if I'm not mistaken. Or it's just the same, and that suit's just beautiful regardless. Here we have him with Headpool from Deadpool and Wolverine, which came with that Logan from the first series. And here we have him with the Deadpool Core scooter pack. Here you can see a little side-by-side of the two Dogpools, both comic and Deadpool and Wolverine's adaptation. Very cool to see side-by-side. For an MCU comparison, here we have him with the Thunderbolts 2-pack US Agent. And for our last comparison, here we have him with the 80th anniversary Iron Man. I don't know why I keep forgetting to put these in the videos. It just slips my mind, even though it's right there on my desk. Man, see, just having the guns there in gold is just such a fresh pop of color right there. Also, if they do a Series 3, we need Nice Pool. And I want a better version of the Desert Eagles with Nice Pool. And I would just love to see the way they tackle that armor he has in the movie. So yeah, overall, I'm very satisfied with this deluxe pack. Just the added accessories make this figure so much better. The figure itself was already pretty good, especially for an MCU figure. Again, I wish they weathered the body to differentiate it from the original one just a little bit, because it is just a one-to-one from what I'm seeing. And of course, a Wade Wilson head would have gone miles, in my opinion. But the accessories they added and the improvements to the accessories we had before, just so good. I really, really appreciate the details there. And of course, little things like Dogpool, that is just so cool. I definitely wasn't expecting the Hulk hands. Like, that's a very crude thing. Like, they try to avoid super inappropriate things or gruesome things, which it's kind of hard to avoid considering he's Deadpool. And also, I mean, the fact that they were able to include the dismembered body parts, like, I mean, I'm not complaining, of course. That's cool to see, but still, just surprised to see that. And of course, little things like the thwipping hands. We've gotten thwipping hands from, of course, Spider-Man and Spider-Man adjacent characters. Seeing it on a Deadpool is so cool. But the fact that they actually just made a brand new mold for this, just because he did a little thwipping motion in the movie for like 2 seconds, like that's just really cool to see. Anyways, that is my review. In general, very solid. $40. Honestly, just because the details they put into the accessories, I think is worth it. If you're able to find it cheaper, always go for it. Any higher than 45, I would really stray away from. But yep, thank you very much for watching. At 100 subscribers, we will be unboxing and reviewing the Legendary Rider Series Hulkbuster, so it'd mean a lot if you subscribe. At time of recording, we are at 50. Very cool to see. Comment below and let me know what else you would like to see. I'll have some more variety coming out here soon. This next week, I should be having a comic Daredevil suit ranking coming out. So stuff along that line of, like, suit rankings, movie rankings. I eventually want to tackle video essays. I would just rather get much more proficient at video editing, because right now it's very crude, just images popping up on screen because I'm a bit retarded, but we're working on it. But yeah, any video topics you'd like to see me tackle, comment down below and I will work on it. But yeah, thank you very much. Peace.